Hello everyone. So, dear learners, I hope you all are safe and sound. This is Preeti here again with you for our online sessions. I hope you all remember our previous lesson in which we learned about the importance of water for human beings. So, my question to you is that do you really think that water is only important for humans? Do you think that it can be important for someone else also? So, my dear learners, the answer to this question is yes. Yes, yes. Yes, it is important for other organisms too. But how? Don't worry, we'll learn that soon. I hope that you all have watched the movie named as Finding Nemo and Finding Dory by Disney, where in Finding Nemo, a papa fish was searching for the baby fish, that is Nemo, with the help of Aunt Fish. And in the other one, that is Finding Dory, the fish and baby fish, they together was searching for Aunt Fish, that is Aunt Dory. Yes, that is the world. That is what I want all of you to recall. Anyways, I hope now you all have recalled that thing. Okay. Now, this whole searching for whether it is about Nemo or Aunt Dory, the whole searching was taking place and the whole thing was going on in sea, which means they were living in sea. Yes. So now we'll learn about the surroundings that they came across in the movie, which is also known as the aquatic world. And let me tell you this thing that our next chapter of the syllabus is also related with it, that is plants and animals in water. So, without further ado, let's begin. Fine. The very first thing is that what exactly we are trying to say this thing that the plants and animals in water. What happens is that there are different kinds of animals, different kinds of plants for which the habitat is water. Now, here I have highlighted the term that is habitat. What exactly this means? The habitat is basically any area where a particular person or a particular organism is residing. For example, you live on land. So, for you, the habitat is land and not water. Some of you must be having aquariums at your places. So, the fishes in the aquarium, they are living in water. If you are going to take it out, it will not going to survive. It will die. So, for them, the habitat is water. So, just like fish, any other animal or plant who is living in water, or you can say inside the water, they all come under the category of aquatic organisms. Clear? Now to examples, this thing to quote certain examples, we have various examples like whales, turtles, water hyacinth, lotus, corals, what exactly they are. Don't worry dear friends, we'll keep learning about these things and we'll go through them again and again with certain more features about them. The whole chapter is revolving around all these things only. So let's get started. Now, the basic terminologies, you should be clear about all those things. For example, the next terminology with us is terrestrial organisms. Now, what they are? They are the organisms which live on land. Like I was quoting the example for all of you that you all live on land. So, you are the organism who is the terrestrial organism. Now, similarly, we have plants also who are living on land. They are trees who are living on land. For example, the garden that is in your balcony or outside your home, or the park that you see outside your home, that whole thing comes under the category of terrestrial organisms. So here in we are talking about organisms, not specifically plants or animals. Here we have all the things like trees, lion, tiger, etc. That is why I have given you this example over here. That is, I have quoted here as this tree. Now, I think you all are able to find out that which tree it is. It is mango tree. Yes, summers are approaching. You will get mangoes for sure. Anyways, that is the terminology which you should be clear about. Now we are moving to the next term, that is arboreal organisms. Now what they are? They are the ones which lives either on trees or on its branches. So which all organisms do you find on trees? Try to recall, try to find out. Okay. The examples for this particular category can be monkey, it can be a squirrel, it can be any other like ant who is crawling over this thing, tree, or some other kind of animal who you see like most of the time you see it on trees only. For example, various birds are there who, like, for them the nesting area is the branches of the tree or the tree itself, of course. So they all comes under this particular category. Now the next category of organism is the aerial organisms. Now the name itself suggests air. So yes, you guessed it correctly, that now we are going to look into the organisms which spend most of their time in the air. Obviously you know the examples for this thing, that is most of the birds, some insects are there, bats, they all fly. But let me tell you that you will not going to quote the example for aeroplanes, because they don't come under the living organisms category. So be careful while quoting the examples. Here we are talking about the living organisms and not the non-living things. Okay, so these are the basic differences, or you can say particularities, and different categories of organisms on the basis of their habitat. Like the previous one we were talking about is the aquatic one, about which our chapter is, and the next one is the terrestrial, the other one is arboreal, and the last one is the aerial. Now we are moving ahead with our chapter itself, that is the aquatic life cycle or the aquatic ecosystem. So the aquatic organisms or aquatic plants we are going to take first, and for aquatic plants we have three major categories. The first one category is the free floating aquatic plants. The other ones are rooted aquatic plants with floating leaves, and the third one is the submerged aquatic plants. Okay, so we are going to learn about all the three categories in detail now. So the very first category that we have is free floating aquatic plants. So what these plants are all about? Free floating, that means all these plants are floating on the water body. Obviously we are talking about the aquatic animals, so we will be quoting the regions or the terms like water bodies, ponds, lake, river, and etc., such things. So for free floating aquatic plants, the very basic thing, the very you can say important and essential component is that they will be found in ponds and lakes, whereas they will be floating freely. That means there will not be any kind of you can say connection of the water surface and the earth surface. So what will going to happen is they will be obtaining their nutrition from water itself. Like normally we know this thing, that plants will be only rooted to the soil. So here this kind of situation is not there. They will be free floating. The roots will not be connected with the soil. Now the examples which I have quoted over here is Pistia, water hyacinth, and Wolfia. Now in the examples over here you must be thinking that why ma'am has like turned two terminologies in italics and the one which is in the center is written in normal format. That is, my dear friends, is the scientific terminologies. So when we are naming things, or you can say specifically the living things, with their scientific names, so in that particular condition we need to convert them into italic fonts. And when you are writing it on your own, you have to follow certain certain other rules and regulations, which is not right now for important for us, but just for your information I have quoted this thing. Now, one very important aspect of these kind of plants is this, that these plants will going to protect the small plants or the submerged plants and animals from hot sun, because the body of those kind of animals and plants is not made, or you can say is not that kind of body which can actually like tolerate hot sun radiations, so they are like that only. Now, what are the other important aspect of these particular kind of organisms, or you can say the free floating organisms? The thing is that these particular organisms are going to have spongy stems with large number of air spaces. Now, what does this mean? This means that the stem, if they have the stem, of course, because like over here you can direct here see that we have roots which are on the surface of water, but here there you can see leaf like structures, they are not stem like structures. So whichever structure is available, whether it is about the leaf or the stems, what we are going to see is that they will have large air spaces. Now, what exactly is the role of air spaces? That they help in carrying, or you can say storing air inside themselves. So what happens is, when you blow a balloon with air, what happens? It becomes lighter and it starts, yes, it starts floating in the air. So the same thing happens in the water as well, that when the organisms which are there in water, they have large air spaces, so they becomes lighter in weight and they start floating on surface of water. Now, what happens is, I've quoted this thing to you, that the roots will be in the water, not, they will not be like attached with the soil. Clear? I hope the things are getting clear now. The terms are not so particular, or you can say are so like threatening or kind of things. I know the words are new to you, but still we have to keep on going. Anyways, I think now we can move to the next topic, that is rooted aquatic plants with floating leaves. Now, in this particular category, here as I've mentioned, rooted aquatic plants with floating leaves. So this is just, you can say, a modification of the previous category that we have discussed just now. What we are going to see here is that there will be plants which will be floating on the water surface. On the other hand, they will have their roots attached to the soil, or you can say the surface of the water body. This way, what will happen? The size of the plant will also increase. The example which I've quoted for you here is water lily and lotus plants. If you all have observed these particular plants in your daily life, or you can say maybe in some movies, some pictures, some cartoons, or some other places which you have visited, then I guess you can like join the dots over there. And now there are certain other things also which are related with this particular category, that is the stem of this particular kind of category will going to have hollow stalks. Now, what are the hollow terminology means over here is that they will be empty from inside, which means is that the overall area, it will be like a pipe which is hollow from inside, which is empty from inside. The internal area is free. What will happen is, because of this particular thing, again they will become lighter in weight, and with the help of this particular category, what will happen? The roots and the overall structure of the plant will be able to stand straight in water, and it will not like fall apart, or you can say will going to bend to one side because of heavy weight of stem or your leaves, because of which it starts floating as well. Now, what happens is, for this particular kind of category, because they have to remain this thing on the air, and the roots are here which may like pull the leaves downwards. So what they do is they are broad in nature, so that it can actually spread itself properly, and they are going to have oily surfaces. Now, what exactly oily surfaces helps us is in that it makes the particular area water repellent. Now, you must have heard the term mosquito repellent. Means by applying that ointment or that sticker on your clothes, what will going to happen is you will not attract mosquitoes. Here the oil will going to make it waterproof. Even if it will going to come in contact with water, obviously we are talking about the leaves or the plants. So if they are going to come in contact with water, they will not absorb the water, because of which they will remain light weighted, and they will remain like they will keep on floating. So it makes it waterproof. Now, what happens is these particular broad leaves sometimes acts as the mediator, or you can say the like for small birds, that they can use this particular place for making their nests as well. Clear? So I am just trying to make things easier for you by like trying to connect the things and like trying to link it with your memories. So I hope I'll be able to give you a better idea of the content as well. Let's move to the next topic, that is the submerged aquatic plants. Now here the term itself says submerged, means their particular plants will be completely drowned in water. Okay, so but that does not mean that they will die. They are below the surface of water, and what exactly happens is in this particular section they have ribbon like structures with which they can allow the water to pass themselves. What happens is if they are going to have broad structures, then it will going to stop, or you can say create resistance. It will going to create hindrance for the water to pass through. So what happens is when it is thin, it is small, it is ribbon shaped. So what happens is that it allows the water to pass through the particular region easily without hampering the structures and stability of the water. Clear? So that is all about the submerged plant. Over here I have given you the idea or the picture for the plant, that is Vallisneria. So here also you can see that the leaf of this particular structure or the particular plant is ribbon shaped, and they are long, thin, and this way they will keep on moving along with the flow of water, but they will not be disturbed, or you can say they will not be like damaged because of the flow of water. Clear? Fine. Now we have another category as well, which is not under these categories that we have discussed, but it is about some different kind of category, that is about weeds. Now these are also of course aquatic organisms, and these are this thing free floating, or they may be free floating, they may be rooted aquatic organisms that we have discussed just now. But apart from that, a unique feature of these organisms is that they are the unwanted plants. That is why this particular category is separate from the ones which we have discussed just now. Why I'm saying this thing, that they are unwanted plants? What they do is they take up all the oxygen from the water, and as a result of that, what will happen, it will going to damage the aquatic life cycle. What will happen is by absorbing all the oxygen that is there in the water, what will happen, the organisms which are inside the water, or they are taking oxygen from water body, that particular water body, they will not be able to get that oxygen, and they will die. That is why they are considered as the unwanted plants. And what happens is, the example which I have quoted for you here is about the water hyacinth, and this is also known as terror of Bengal. There's a complete story about this thing, that this particular plant was like brought to Bengal for cultivation, as it is very very beautiful, and the color of this particular plant is very beautiful. So what happens is it was brought into Bengal, and when they started cultivating it, then it started disturbing the aquatic life cycle of that particular water body. So that is why it grow like anything. So that is why it is also known as terror of Bengal. Now what happens is, because of this particular reason that it will going to start growing at a very tremendous rate, and it start creating problem for the ships if they are in that particular area, or some other kind of boats, or it actually creates problem in the waterways navigation as well, like the organisms which we are looking into, like the aquatic organism, they use the water current for their own navigation. So this particular technique or this particular phenomena will also be hampered because of weeds. So class, this is it for today. I hope I'm able, like I hope I was able to communicate the things properly, and it was easier like for you to relate things. But I would like request you, I would like to say this thing to you, that make sure that you go through the video again and again. Otherwise you may tend to get confused between the terms, as we have discussed lots and lots of term in this particular video. So be careful while learning them, while understanding them, and if you have any query, we can discuss it later on. So till then, from like till the next video, let's be safe, be careful about our health, be happy, and take care of yourself. Bye bye.